On a bright sunlit day in Las Vegas, the world of luxury jewelry paused, not for a famous designer or billionaire mogul, but for President Boko of Botswana, a leader from a land often overlooked in the glitz of global commerce. The city, known for its dazzling lights and high-stakes deals, was about to witness a different kind of spectacle, one that would echo far beyond the walls of the convention center. The JC Jewelry Show, usually abuzz with talk of carats, clarity, and the latest trends, was electrified by his presence. Attendees, used to the familiar rhythms of the industry, sensed something different in the air. A shift, a challenge, a call to attention. Boko's message was clear and uncompromising. The old ways of doing business with Africa were over. He spoke not just as a politician, but as a representative of a continent ready to claim its rightful place at the table. No longer would Africa be just a source of raw materials for wealthy nations to exploit and profit from. The days of extracting value from African soil while leaving its people behind were coming to an end. He spoke with the conviction of someone who had watched his country's wealth leave for too long, his words carrying the weight of generations who had seen their resources enrich others while their own communities struggled. Diamonds, he reminded the audience, begin their journey deep in African soil, shaped by the hands of African workers. Yet most of the profits, the real wealth, flow overseas, enriching distant economies while African nations see only a fraction of the value. For decades, this imbalance has been justified by old agreements and outdated power structures, but Boko made it clear. Those days are numbered. He wasn't asking for charity. He was demanding fairness, respect, and a new partnership built on equality. His tone was not one of pleading, but of insistence. Botswana, and all of Africa, deserved a better deal. The continent's resources, he argued, should benefit its own people first, fueling development, education, and opportunity. The diamond industry's elite listened, many unaccustomed to hearing such a direct call for economic justice on their own turf. Some shifted in their seats, others leaned in, realizing history was unfolding before them. Boko challenged the very foundation of the global diamond trade, declaring that Botswana would no longer be a silent partner. The era of quiet acquiescence was over. The country was ready to cut, polish, and sell its own diamonds, no longer just a miner but a major player in the world market. Botswana would add value at home, creating jobs and expertise for its people. This was more than a speech. It was a declaration of independence, a bold statement that Africa would write its own story in the world of luxury and beyond. Boko's words marked a turning point, not just for Botswana, but for all African nations seeking control over their resources. It was a rallying cry for unity and self-determination. Across the continent, a new generation was watching, one that dreams not just of extracting wealth, but of building industries, creating art, and shaping the future. The sparkle of diamonds in that room seemed to reflect a new hope, a continent ready to shape its own destiny, to shine on its own terms. Africa was rising, and for the first time, the world was finally listening, not out of charity, but out of respect for a new power emerging. The era of silent partnership was over. A new voice had roared in Vegas, and its echoes would be heard around the world. To understand Boko's impact, you must know his journey. Boko, a Harvard-educated human rights lawyer, returned to Botswana to fight for the underdog. He defended the Sand People, protecting their ancestral lands, and became a champion for justice. For nearly 6 decades, Botswana was ruled by one party, but growing inequality and youth frustration demanded change. In October 2024, voters swept Boko and his coalition to power, signaling a new era. His inauguration was met with celebration and hope for a fairer society. Boko promised to tackle inequality, create jobs, and ensure resources benefited all. When he spoke in Las Vegas, he carried the trust and hopes of his people. His mission was bigger than diamonds. It was about a better life for every citizen. From courtroom defender to president, Boko's unique perspective gave him a voice the world could not ignore. Botswana had chosen a leader who would put its people first. In Botswana, diamonds are the lifeblood of the economy, making up 80% of exports. These precious stones have shaped the nation's destiny, fueling dreams and ambitions across generations. From the moment diamonds were first discovered beneath the Kalahari sands, Botswana's story changed forever. Diamond revenue has built schools, hospitals, and roads, transforming Botswana from poverty to a middle-income nation. The country's progress is visible in bustling classrooms, well-equipped clinics, and highways that connect remote villages to thriving cities. For many, diamonds have meant hope, a chance for a better life. The partnership with De Beers, through Botswana, has been stable and ethical, avoiding the blood diamond curse. Botswana's diamonds are known for their conflict-free origins, and the government's careful management has set a global standard for transparency and fairness in the industry. Yet, despite national wealth, Botswana remains one of the world's most unequal societies. Gleaming office towers rise beside neighborhoods where families struggle to make ends meet, and the gap between rich and poor is hard to ignore. Many young people struggle to find jobs, and poverty persists. For the next generation, the promise of diamonds sometimes feels out of reach, as unemployment and hardship cast long shadows over their futures. The question grew louder. If diamonds made us rich, why are so many still struggling? In town halls and village squares, citizens debate how the nation's wealth can be shared more fairly and what must change for everyone to benefit. The country's fate is tied to diamond prices. When markets slump, so does Botswana. Economic shocks ripple through every community, reminding all that prosperity built on a single resource is fragile. President Boko inherited this challenge, to get a bigger share for his people and diversify the economy. His vision is to ensure that Botswana's wealth is not just a privilege for a few, but a foundation for lasting progress. Diamonds are a blessing, but also a dependency. The nation's leaders know that true security means building new industries and opportunities beyond the glittering stones. Boko's task is to ensure the wealth reaches everyone, not just a few. It's a mission that demands bold reforms, community engagement, and a new vision for the future. The time had come to turn diamond riches into opportunity for all. Education, entrepreneurship, and innovation are now at the heart of Botswana's next chapter. Botswana's future would not be built on diamonds alone. The nation stands at a crossroads, ready to harness its resources, its people, and its spirit to create a more inclusive and sustainable tomorrow. African diamonds begin deep underground, but their journey has long taken them far from home. For decades, rough stones were shipped to Antwerp, Tel Aviv, or Surat, where they were cut, polished, and sold for huge profits. Africa did the digging, but others reaped the rewards. More than half the world's diamonds come from Africa, yet the continent had little say in their final value. Only a fraction of the wealth ever returned to the communities where diamonds were mined. President Boko wants to change this, keep high-skilled jobs and value creation in Botswana. His vision is for Botswana to become a world-class center for cutting and polishing its own gems. More wealth would stay in the country, building the economy and improving lives. It's a bold plan to reverse a century-old supply chain and bring prosperity home. The journey of Africa's diamonds must now end where it began, in Africa. President Boko didn't just bring strong words to Las Vegas. He brought a new deal, one that would reshape Botswana's future and send ripples across the global diamond industry. In January 2025, Botswana and De Beers struck a groundbreaking agreement that would redefine their partnership and set a new standard for resource-rich nations everywhere. Over the next decade, Botswana's share of rough diamonds will rise to 50%, giving the country unprecedented control over half its precious gems. This is more than just a number. It's a symbol of empowerment and self-determination. For the first time, Botswana can sell its diamonds directly to global buyers, bypassing middlemen and maximizing profits that once flowed overseas. This opens doors to new markets and greater economic independence. De Beers will also contribute $720 million to a development fund, supporting new industries and jobs beyond mining. This fund will help diversify Botswana's economy, investing in education, technology, and infrastructure to build a more resilient future. Meanwhile, the government is negotiating for a bigger stake in De Beers itself, aiming to amplify Botswana's voice in the industry and ensure its interests are represented at the highest level. This deal marks Botswana's shift from junior partner to equal, transforming its role from a supplier of raw materials to a true stakeholder in the global diamond market. With more control, more diamonds, and more money staying in the country, Botswana is now empowered to move up the value chain, processing, marketing, and exporting diamonds on its own terms. President Boko has shown that an African nation can stand up to a global giant and win, inspiring others to demand fairer deals and greater respect on the world stage. It's a victory for fairness, a triumph of negotiation, and a model for other resource-rich countries seeking to rewrite their own stories. Botswana is no longer just a miner. It's a major player, shaping its destiny and setting an example for the continent and the world. A new dawn has arrived, and with it, hope for a brighter, more prosperous future for Botswana and beyond. For Boko, a better diamond deal is just the start. His vision ensure wealth reaches every citizen, not just the elite. He's pledged to double the minimum wage and expand social grants using diamond revenue to reduce inequality. Investments in education and training will give young people real opportunities. The goal is a fair economy where everyone can succeed. Botswana's diamond miracle must benefit all, not just a few. Boko's plan is to turn natural riches into a cycle of opportunity for every Botswana. Boko knows Botswana's future can't rely on diamonds alone. Economic diversification is his priority, building new industries and jobs. He's investing in climate-smart agriculture and renewable energy, especially solar power. Botswana's abundant sunshine could power the nation and even its neighbors. Innovative ideas, like legalizing hemp and marijuana for industry, show his openness to new growth. The goal: use diamond wealth to build a sustainable, resilient economy. Boko is planting seeds for a greener, more prosperous future beyond mining. Boko's message to the world is clear. Africa deserves respect, not charity. He demands fair trade and partnership, not extraction and aid. If the West won't engage on equal terms, others, like China, are ready to step in. Botswana's diamonds are now marketed as ethical, premium gems with a story of hope and progress. Boko is selling not just stones, but a vision of African empowerment. Other African leaders are watching, inspired by Botswana's new model. It's a call for a balanced relationship. Africa as an equal, not a resource to be exploited. Boko is showing that Africa's wealth can, and should, empower its own people. The world must listen, or risk being left behind. President Boko's story is a symbol of Africa's rising ambition. His actions send ripples of change across the continent, inspiring hope and empowerment. Botswana's example shows that natural resources can fuel both growth and justice. The world's consumers can help by choosing products that empower communities. For generations, Africa's wealth flowed out. Now, leaders like Boko are reclaiming it. Under pressure, diamonds and nations can transform. Boko is carving a brighter, fairer future for Botswana and beyond. This is the true value of Africa's diamonds: opportunity, dignity,